Countdown. 20 seconds. There we go. Post 12. Yeah. Eat this up. Erase that. Erase that. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Catherine Yancey here at Disco 100 Radio, K.D.Y live here for you today this Sunday afternoon. Join us each and every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Disco 100 Radio. If you have not already subscribed. So last week was our first week here on Disco 100 Radio. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and supporting. And we're here with the conversation again, getting this thing married. We kind of didn't have enough time to get through everything that we could have possibly talked about last week. Like there'll ever be enough time to talk about everything we could possibly talk about when it comes to getting and staying married. But for those who didn't tune in last week, let me tell you the premise behind this. And we do have a guest coming in, and we're talking to divorced people right now. Because if anybody got some information on what didn't work and what could work, what could make it better, is divorced people. And the statistics say that there are a lot of them out there. I am not married nor divorced. I've never been. So the premise of the show comes from the fact that I think people get married and get divorced because they go in and don't know what to realistically expect. So I think if people become more transparent in relationships, especially when it comes to marriage, and talk about the things that are real in marriage, not just the good. Everybody always wants to talk about the good. Yeah. I'm glad for that, of course. But there's also the bad that comes with it as well. And if we talk about the bad as well, people won't be so shocked when the not so good stuff happens in marriage. So it's just a part of life. Everything has ups, downs, hills, valleys. And we want to talk about all of them so that we can be prepared to go through the ups, downs, and the hills and the valleys. So the number is on the screen. We're open to you all chiming in on the conversation today. That number is 678-638-6626, 678-638-6626. Would love to hear from you today if you have anything to contribute to the conversation. Specifically, we're talking to divorced people. Of course, we want to hear all of the wisdom from those who've managed to stay married through the trials and tribulations that come with marriage. All right. So last week, we had a guest come in. That was James. James so graciously said that he thinks that the divorce rate is higher than 50%, because I mentioned that the standard rate of divorce in the United States has been 50% for quite some time. So I actually looked it up this morning, and they say that the rate of divorce nowadays is 39%. So they say that we're actually doing a little bit better when it comes to staying married. So down 11% is pretty good percentage down. So what they said, though, is that there are some reasons in particular that people are getting divorced. And because my memory doesn't serve me so greatly at times, I'm just going to read it to you. So what they say is the higher divorce rate can be contributed to people marrying young, people having limited education and income, people living together before a commitment to marriage, premarital pregnancy, no religious affiliation, coming from a divorced family, and feelings of insecurity. So I'll read that list again. There's a lot of stuff on there that a lot of people can probably find themselves in one or more of those categories. So higher divorce rates in the United States are contributed to people marrying young, limited education and income, people living together before a commitment to marriage, premarital pregnancy, no religious affiliation, coming from a divorced family, and feelings of insecurity. Now, it's funny because I guess coming from the old days, We're going to take a break and, oh, okay. Okay. I have a question from the studio, and that's Disco100 chiming in over here. He's doing sign language, and I'm not good at sign language. So,
do you think the marriage rate is so different? Why do you think it's so different from our why do you think it's so many? When we were growing up, our grandmama and grandfathers been married 30, 40, 50. Why do you think it's so different now?
absolutely. Well, I believe that many marriages back then, of course, they were called shotgun marriages. So they were kind of a place where it was a understanding of something that you would do to, I guess, sustain your household and the community, how it was structured. So with the structure of our households being different, more so now, because back in those days of grandmother being married for from the age of maybe 13 even, let's just talk about the difference there. And at this time, we would say that that was even a statutory rape situation. So the circumstance of living all together is just so much more different in these times than it was then, as it pertains to being able to maintain our existence. So grandma gets married, 13, to probably somebody who's much older than her. Thanks for the link. But grandma gets married to probably somebody who's much older than her because the societal norm at that time was for that to be the case. She didn't really have a voice because what was she contributing other than the children? And she was maintaining the household, of course, for sure. But the children were needed to sustain the work that was required for us to survive back in those times. A lot of sharecropping and things of that nature. And let's not go back to slavery. You know, they depended on us having children so that we can tend to the labor, not so that we can be a happy family. You know, so I think at this point, we're more so concerned with having healthy relationships as opposed to just having relationships to endure whatever the task at hand is before us. So a lot of times there were situations, and eventually we'll get to have conversations stemmed around abuse in homes, because I think a lot of that happened in our homes back in the day because there was a sole provider who nobody would go against in the home. So they were able to more so get away with things that were violating, in a sense, to the people of the family, and probably the women and children of the family more so than others. So there was a lot of incest, a lot of rape. And there's still a lot of situations where people are tormented by that knowledge of that happening in their households, but doing nothing about it because they were surviving at the time. So there's a lot of unsaid things about survival in the home that we just went through. So nowadays we are not as restricted in what our own capabilities are as far as taking care of ourselves, because most of us don't live in just a sole provider household anymore. We're able to provide for ourselves. We're able to get our own educations. Black women are probably the most educated people that we have right now. We start the most small businesses. So the dynamics of family has totally changed. And in some ways that's good. In some ways it's not so good, because we get the too independent woman, if that's such a thing. And there's not a balance where a man is allowed to be a man anymore. And then there's also the situation where a man doesn't want to be a man anymore. So, you know, it's a lot of dynamics, a lot of variables that go into play there. So while back in the day we were kind of forced into situations, I don't think we're kind of volunteering for those exact same situations now.
But is it safe to say that it wasn't easy to get out back in the day versus saying we were forced? Meaning we didn't have all these different laws where you can go to the courthouse and do something online and this and that. It was more so that the resources weren't there if somebody wanted to get out back in the day.
I don't know exactly what the laws are back in the days. I haven't done that research, but I think that for survival purposes, people weren't really wanting to get out per se. Of course, they wouldn't want to endure some of the things they had to endure, but how do you survive if you don't have the means to provide for yourself? So I don't think that they necessarily had it harder as it pertains to being able to get out, as opposed to mentally being restrained and for survival needs. I wouldn't necessarily just go and jump out and go on my own, not knowing where I'm going. Especially back in that day, you would be the first to do it. Nobody's, paved that out for you.
So you made a comment, you said that it's a lot of independent women not very successful. So now it's to the point where they're not going to deal with it too much because they can go do their own thing. Is that the same comment I just said?
For some, absolutely. However, there's always an exception to anything. But there's definitely a realm of women who have defined for themselves who they are, and they have standards. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having standards. If somebody's not measuring up, then you don't have to dumb yourself down to fit into their world. If they don't want to measure up to where you are in your life, then maybe that's not a good connection for you. I think a lot of times people run into issues with trying to force themselves into relationships when that relationship may not be your relationship, and you're just needy in a sense of having a person. But if that person is not your person, then it's just going to be turmoil for you in some way or another. So I think people have to start being comfortable with being by themselves. How happy are you just with you? If people aren't comfortable being happy with themselves, another person is not going to make you happy. A relationship is not going to make you happy. A marriage is not going to make you happy. A baby is not going to make you happy. Now, there may be moments in there where they bring, a joy to you, but to sustain your happiness comes from within. None of those externals will be factors to bring you long-term happiness. All of that is within. So getting and staying married, I think that people have false expectations and hopes, and they depend on, and some depend on others to manifest in their world something that they can't manifest in themselves on their own. And if that's the case for you, you will always end up with less than what you're thinking you deserve, because nobody can give you more of what you deserve than yourself, because you're actually laying out the blueprint for how you're to be treated, how you think of yourself, how you like other people to think of you, how you are to be loved, what says love to you. If you're not fully comfortable with yourself and being true to yourself and honest with yourself as to what those things are for you, then when somebody else comes along and they present things to you and they kind of may fall into what they think are those good things for you instead of what you think or know are those good things for you, then this kind of, you just get what you get. You have to be prepared to set the standard for what you deserve, what you're looking for, what marriage means to you. For some people, it can be just an arrangement that they're good with. It could be, I'm not going to cheat on you though, but please know that we're going to work together well as partners. That is our primary. Other people, they may want the family structure to be stronger and, leaving a legacy for generations. Everybody's notion of what a good marriage is not the same. And I think that is up to people to be honest going into just dating situations, even to lay out what their desire is for the future. A lot of times people get into relationships and they let their representative be seen, and when they attract what the representative likes, and that's not who they are wholeheartedly, when they're ready to put their representative away and they got what the representative attracted, then they're not happy. But you get what you get when you do that. So a lot of men, and I'll say a lot because a lot of men that I know have approached me, have done this exact thing. And not to say that it's all though. So, so a lot of men will, put their money first and lead with money. And they're like, hey, yo, I want to buy you this, I want to buy you that, and we're gonna, go take some trips and blah blah blah. And the only thing that they have to offer, it seems initially, is money. And personally, for me, I'm not attracted to a person that leads with money. I like that you're secure, but financially, but I don't like that you think that that makes you something more than who you are with nothing. Who you are with nothing is really who you are to me. So for a person to lead with money and then get mad at a woman because she may decide to just take you for your money, then that's on you. You shouldn't have put yourself out there if you don't want somebody to be asking you about paying their rent or their car note or buying them a car or, what fancy restaurant we're going to. If you start out on that track, then that's kind of what you are expected to keep up. So don't mislead women with your wallet and then get upset because they expect you to always be handing them something from the wallet or, taking care of them in a manner in which exudes that you're ready to spend on them. So, for a lot of men that I have encountered who lead with money, they always want to say, well, I got these gold diggers and, they just want this and that. Well, you kind of put yourself out there for them to want this and that from you because that's what you offered initially. So, if you don't want people to go after you for your money, then stop leading with money. Lead with your personality. Lead with, your who you are according to what God says about you. And for me personally, I don't force God on people, but that's first and foremost important to me. Do you really know what God says about you? Because if you do, then we're not dealing with someone with insecurities that I have to constantly be building up. Not that I'm not going to build you up, but we don't have to deal with that on that level if you're already in tune with what God says about you. So with getting and staying married, it said one of the reasons for divorce, along with all of the many others, including marrying young, premarital pregnancy, living together before marriage. They also said insecurities. So if you're insecure as a person before you even start engaging with other people just on the dating realm, then it's going to be hard for you to be satisfied in marriage because the marriage can't tack up all of those wounds from whatever your past has brought into your world and make you whole. Marriage does not do that. So getting and staying married, I think, requires for people to be totally transparent. Of course, as Disco was bringing up, there have been situations where people stay married and it may not have been the best situation for them. It may have been an abusive situation, but they stayed married. But we want to talk about getting and staying in healthy marriages where each person is edified in the marriage and you become a better person for being involved with whoever your mate is for life, and you can actually be committed for life. So we don't want to talk about just getting married and staying married so you can just count your anniversary years and just be like, I've been married this many years, but they're all miserable. So we don't want to encourage people just to, in order, there was a post up the other day and it said a lot of people out here trying to save face, posting about how long they've been married and in relationship when they're miserable. So we don't want to be those types of people where we're, speaking on how we're having longevity in our relationships, but the relationships are not serving us in a positive way. So you all can come on in. So this is my late guest today, but he's still welcome. Come on in.
We're out here. What's up, boss?
What's up? Can you get through? All right.
Big boy.
Atlanta traffic. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, for those who
Yeah.
don't know. So
Imaginary traffic stops and accidents.
imaginary?
Yeah, because everybody's stopping, but there's no accident.
Absolutely. There was someone stopped on the hill over here when I was coming down to the studio. And I'm like, why are you stopped on the downslope on the hill? And you can just easily move over. It's going to be our fault if we ram into you, because I'm that person that could be the person ramming into you, because I'm trying to get to the studio. But anyhow,
Here.
yes. And who are we speaking to today?
Jeffrey.
All right, we're speaking to Jeff Mumford. Though some of you all may know him as DJ Paul. This is my old DJ. So this is actually my best friend in life. So it's going to be interesting to talk to him today to find out some things that I probably don't even know already.
Yeah,
So let's
true.
see what we get down to the core of today.
Right.
All right. So we're talking getting and staying married. I myself have never been married. Of course, I've disclosed that information many times. I do have a desire to be married. Actually, I said when I was 17 that I was going to be married at 23 and have 8 kids. So, yes, that was 8, Disco. I said 8.
Yeah, you missed 7.
I mean, yeah, mine is 7 of the 8. I only had 1. So,
And a very lovely young lady, I must
she
say.
is. Kiara is my daughter, and she's actually expecting. I'm about to be a grandmother soon in a couple of months.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you, Papa. All right, that's a Papa over there too. With 5 grandchildren. Okay, so Jeff, how long were you married?
23 years.
23 years. When did you all start dating? How old were you?
I think I was 23.
23 when you started dating?
Yeah.
How long did you date before you got engaged?
About 18 months.
So a year and a half. Was she older or younger? Same age?
A little younger.
How much younger? Okay, so I'm going to go back and read this list that I got from Google, and it's given us primary reasons that people are divorced in the United States.
You ain't got to go to Google for that.
What are the reasons you think? And let's see if they line up.
Financial is one.
Yeah,
Sex is another.
sex didn't make the list, but I'm sure.
Oh, family members.
Didn't. Okay,
Relationships with other people,
cheating.
Not cheating, just
Oh,
family members.
A family
Relatives.
relationship. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about all of that today. But some of the reasons that he had on the list were marrying young, limited education and income, living together before commitment to marriage, premarital pregnancy, no religious affiliation, coming from a divorced family, and feelings of insecurity. Okay.
Some of that, yeah.
Okay. So I mentioned that because obviously you were young when you got married.
Right.
How old were you?
23.
You were 23 at marriage or
At
meeting?
marriage, I was 25.
25 married. So she's probably around 23.
21.
She was 21. Okay. And you were married for 20 years?
23.
23 years. How did you know she was the one? How soon after you met her did you know she was the one? Because we got people out here dating for 10 years and guys still trying to figure it out.
When she told me the first time no, I was like,
She told you what?
no.
No to what?
I asked her to marry me. She said no. She turned me down.
How long after?
I mean,
How long after?
Close to that mic.
Talking the mic for me.
all right.
So how long after meeting her and dating? Did you become monogamous one?
Yes.
Whatever.
I did. Yeah, she's wrong for that. I was solo at that time.
You were solo, so
Solo.
you were living a single life.
Single life. Yeah, I was living a single life with my brother. We were.
Oh, you want to drag your brother in this?
I mean, he drugged me into Atlanta, so that's how I ended up.
I understand. Okay, I'm gonna take it easy on you, but so you date monogamously and you decide that you want to marry her. After how long did you decide that after dating
It was
monogamously?
Like a year and a half. I was like,
Okay.
hey, we've been doing this
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis. You hear every day,
Yeah, and she said no.
And she said no.
At 21, she said no, or
I
younger.
think she was probably her birthday had came, so she had to be like 20.
20. Okay. So that turned you on even more that she said no.
I mean, it didn't turn me on. It just made me more, I guess you could say, more wanting to get this taken care of. Like,
That's it.
you're not leaving.
Okay. So you were like, I guess, not wanting to risk the chance of her ending up somewhere else?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, we were dating and we were working together.
Okay.
We actually worked at the same location
Mm-hmm.
for a retail outlet that is no longer in business. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, I know one day I was like, hey, can you just grab me something to eat for lunch because I can't go anywhere. She was like, all right. So I gave her $20 to get 2 cheeseburgers.
Okay.
I got the 2 cheeseburgers.
No change.
No change.
Absolutely.
I was
That's your
like-
wife.
I was like, it's a wrap. I got to get that money back.
Really? She owed you.
She owed me $18.
Hilarious. Okay. So, being that you got married at 25, do you think that was a wise decision now? Looking back.
Probably not.
Oh,
Probably
why?
not so wide. I mean, I was ready.
Okay.
I don't think that our relationship was ready.
Okay.
I think we were ready. The obstacles that came along with it, I don't think we were ready.
What would be the obstacles?
Family members interfering with your life,
Mhm.
wanting to be in your life.
Was it more so on the female side or your side as well?
My family didn't care. They was glad somebody got it.
Okay. So how much is it a problem that family members get involved in household situations that aren't in their household?
It's a huge problem. If I did it all over again
Mhm.
after we got married, I'd have moved out of Georgia. I'd have relocated.
Really? Okay. It was that primarily be to make it difficult for involvement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was always something, you're not doing this, you should do this. And I mean, it was more so geared towards her versus me.
What do you mean?
Because it was like, you're not doing this for him. You got you a good man and you
Oh.
hadn't finished school and stuff. And I was like, we had talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to go back to school. And I was like, all right. And at the time she was pregnant. So
How long after being married was she pregnant? She was pregnant before marriage.
yeah, we went in. She was
Okay.
already on the way.
Okay. Mhm. Do you think that you all got married quicker because she was pregnant?
It had a little push to do with it.
Okay. And looking back, or giving advice to others who may find themselves in that same situation, what would be the advice?
I mean, the pregnancy was not the issue. Like I said, it was always the comments from the outside people that did more damage than anything. It's like, are you even going to be able to raise this baby because you're so young?
What
Like,
choice do you have at
I
this
mean,
point?
you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But you do have a partner who's there to support you.
All right.
So it was like they would talk to her about those kind of things, but they would
In a
kind of make
negative.
it look like she didn't have anyone to support her.
Okay.
Because I always supported her 100%.
Yes. And that's a slap in the face.
Yeah, it is. So then, then I had to step in, and it wasn't a cute situation.
So you're the bad guy now.
Yeah, I'm the bad guy now.
Mhm.
First, I was a good
Between
guy
her
because I
and
didn't
all
say
of her
anything.
family.
Yeah, I was good because I didn't say anything at first.
Mhm.
But then when I spoke up on behalf of my family,
Mhm.
I'm the bad guy.
Mhm.
Oh, he out of control
And when you say behalf of your family, you meant your household.
in my household. Yes.
So for men in a relationship, how important is it for them to feel like they're the head of the household?
Oh, it's important.
Mhm.
It's important. It's important, especially when your partner supports you, and when you make a decision, and your partner holds that decision down. That's important. But when you have a partner who sways between, oh, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't. It's either you in with me or you're not.
hmm And what did you more so experience in marriage when it came to that?
Again, the family, like, you shouldn't let, he's running you. He's telling you what to do. this man got control over you. You know, you should listen to your mother. You should listen to your sister, your aunt, not the drunk.
Uh-huh. And right. So it's always easier for people to get involved in other people's situations as opposed to deal with their own. Were any of the people advising her in a successful marriage?
Now I'm gonna say her mother did, for the most part. She was, if anybody, I mean, I would, but her mother passed away early on in our marriage.
Sorry to hear that.
And once, and I felt like once she was out of the picture, it was
With the sisters
yeah, with
chiming
the
in?
sisters chiming in, the aunties
So mother kept some balance.
kept them balanced. Yeah.
I understand. How important is it to have some guidance from those who've already walked the marriage road successfully?
It is important because you're gonna hit some bumps that you like. It's not in the book. You know, I know one instance there was a time where, in raising our son, the sister was like, "No, you should do it like this." And I was working with the state at the time, and I would be gone for like 3 days, 4 days, come home for 3, 4 days. And she was like, we were talking about my son's hair, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have it cut when I come back home. So the sister takes it upon herself to go do it.
No.
Go do it her own
Oh,
self.
wow.
And I was like, and I came home like, well, it's okay. No, it's not okay.
No,
I'm like,
because she put 2 feet in
I
your
mean,
household.
You all, and then it wasn't long after that, then she had to come live with us because you ain't got nowhere to live.
Oh, wow.
I've taken care of a lot of families
Okay.
in these years. So, but you listen to somebody who can't even keep her own man, her little boyfriend. You got a whole husband. So when we set goals and make rules, those are what we abide by. It doesn't matter what the other folks think.
So we say that it doesn't matter what the other folks think, but
it was to her, obviously.
exactly. I was going to say that it happens more often than not, probably, where people behave in manners that solidify what other people think they should behave like. And
it is marriage is it was fun. Do I want to do it again? No, I don't. Honestly, but with the right person, I mean, it would take a lot.
and what were the fun parts?
Doing things that the vacations, those were always fun. One thing that I learned, cooking in a marriage is fun. Even if the partner can't cook,
Having time together?
Yeah, let them do things they know how to do. Like, you can wash these dishes as I make this. I make this part, clean this dish. Building that bond with each other. Cooking is a good thing in a marriage.
What other things can you do in the marriage? To simple things that don't cost money that you can do to build a bond.
The parks.
Parks are free.
It's okay to go outside and get your hair a little fluffy to walk on a trail with your man. Because sometimes I don't want to mess my hair up because I'll be sweating and stuff. Okay, sometimes you need to do that. Let that hair just You
hear that, ladies?
Baby, I'm gonna get your hair fixed next this Friday. I'm gonna go ahead and make an appointment. But you need to get out there with your guy. Because you send him out on the trail by himself. There's some woman out there walking, and she see him, and they start talking. Now that's his trail buddy. He want to go walk every day, and have this conversation that you refuse to have with him. And I know some of my people are saying she didn't refuse; she just didn't want to go walk, and she refused.
So what you're saying basically is don't leave doors open where other people can come in.
Exactly.
So, were there any doors that you left open?
Yes, there was, and I caught it.
Explain, please.
I mean, it was, and the crazy thing was, I was a football fan. Always liked football. I played football. I love football. And so on Sundays, she'd go to church with her mom, and I'm at home. I'm watching all the games. I'm like, yeah, I cook dinner, no problem. So one Sunday, her mother comes and she was like, you need to go to church Sunday. And I'm thinking she's like, yo, heathen, you need, nah, she was like, nah,
Somebody
is
over there
checking.
peeking at church.
So
You might need to go to
I
church.
show up, and sure enough,
She had a church husband.
this dude goes to the daycare to pick up my son. I'm
No.
like, what? I was like, what the heck? I was like, he come back and they walk, and I'm like,
With your son.
my son.
Because you want to stay home
I
on
was stay
Sundays.
home on Sunday. So you
Uh-huh.
and you know, my mother was always on me about going to church anyway. So
Uh-huh.
I was like, hey, baby,
You might need to
I
show
need
up.
to show up.
Mhm.
So and that turned into something that I had to deal with later on.
The guy?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
He became the I can't let you go guy.
Right, exactly. So I'm glad you said that because a lot of times, and I'm sure that you saw he was a problem immediately.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you saw him interacting with your child and you didn't know that he was doing that on that level, you
Exactly.
knew he was a problem. So a lot of times the opposite sex in the relationship. So if we were dating and say you have a child playing football or whatever, and I go out to the practice one day and this other football mom is like a little too close and a little too friendly, like the
Right.
woman will see that. And if
Yeah.
we come to you and say, yo, that right there is a problem.
You need to listen.
Don't be like you insecure. No, we can see that. You may not be able to see it because you're not looking at it in that way. But a lot of the times the opposite sex can see what you're not able to see. So men, when we say, yo, that's just our friend, whatever, we've been friends since high school, and then our guy friend gets a glimpse of them, they're like, yo, nah, that ain't just your friend.
ain't
He
just your-
waiting on a moment.
Yeah, you waiting on
Yeah.
opportunity.
Exactly.
She waiting on opportunity.
Exactly. So how important is it to get rid of those opportunistic people who are sitting around waiting?
It is vital because you can set your own self up for an opportunity that you weren't trying to set yourself up because you're open, you know, that's my friend and we're cool and you don't have that guard up and they take their chance, shoot their shot and you like, oh,
Didn't know it was coming, but
Didn't know it was
somebody
coming.
probably already told you. Your
Yeah.
girl told you it was
Yeah.
coming because we already sensed it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
some things certain women won't do unless they're open to something else
Right.
happening.
believe it.
Yeah. So
You know, even it was a situation with her family where there was a woman in the family who the aunt knew kind of like she left me in her house with the woman
intentionally, you think?
intentionally. No, you don't just leave your house and go to the grocery store and like,
Nah.
and this woman's in here with your niece's husband.
Husband.
And I was like, and so my wife shows up and we in the house by ourselves.
And wife is like,
And
what
it's
is
my
going
fault.
on?
But it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, nah, I was left here and I was waiting on a ride. You and
Oh,
your aunt
You were
left.
waiting on her.
I had no car. I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do anything. That was my only defense.
Mm-hmm.
But had I had a car and still been there, that would have been a different situation. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
you could have easily walked out and left. But yeah, your aunt left me here with this crazy nut.
Yeah, sometimes people will not want your situation to be successful
Oh,
for
they do.
whatever reason.
They did. And it was sad.
So still you managed to get 20 years out of it.
Yeah, we got
Um,
23 years out of it. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. You know, the beach trips. Those were the fun things. You know,
So what are some of the things that need to occur in marriage to make them last that long, give them that longevity?
communication. You got to talk.
Men don't like to talk.
Ours was struggle. We struggled. I struggled. I mean, I can say I struggled because I didn't want to say nothing. If I didn't want to talk, I just didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'd be those days where it's like, don't
Well, talk to the man that's in that place right now and help a brother out.
help a brother out.
Help a brother out.
If you don't say nothing, brother, she gonna go. She gonna do whatever you think she's doing. She gonna do it if you're not talking to her. You got to give her something to think about.
Elaborate. What do you mean? Something to think about.
If you're coming home from work and you're tired and you're getting on the chair and watching TV or you're kicking back smoking your cigar, somebody else will kick back and smoke a cigar and have a conversation for your wife.
So
You can kick back and have your cigar, but invite her in and let her know. Say, hey, you know, today was just horrible.
So instead of shutting your wife, we're talking about marriages now, wife out, even though you may need some me time, you have to communicate what's going on.
And let her know.
Yeah.
I might, and it gets to a point where she knows, I need to give 10 minutes or so in there by herself.
But what about the guy who needs 2 hours? Who's parked in the driveway?
Ooh,
I know from experience.
Y'all are having some serious situations. That's that. Get the bag, baby. You might not be coming back home because you need to go somewhere else. If it's that bad, you need a whole.
If you can just come in your home when you get home, your piece is not in your home.
Yeah, if your piece is not in your home, if it's not your wife's issue, or if it's something else that's keeping you from being inside. Because first of all, you got to figure out why you're not going inside. Because there's a reason why you can't go inside. Is she that ugly? Is her conversation that bad? Is she not appealing to you? You have to be honest about those things. If she's not talking to you in the manner that you want to hear, not so much want to hear, but if she's not being honest with you and truthful to you, then that's something you need to discuss. But if she's being truthful, you need to figure out what the problem is. I mean, you need to go to counseling. Counseling, I will say counseling is important in a marriage. Ain't because you're crazy, ain't because you're just breaking up. Sometimes you do need that independent individual that can
non-biased
and just say, hey, Jeff, you sitting in the driveway is not going to help your marriage. Maybe you need to open a door so that your wife can help you in. Or it could be her, like, hey, you doing this or this before he gets home is keeping him outside. These things. You need a therapist. You need a family therapist.
And therapists are important before we get to the brink of divorce.
Yes.
A lot of times people want to seek help when they are sinking. And
you already sunk and you looking for somebody to throw a rope with your hand out the water to pull you out because you're about to drown. Right.
But relationships can really thrive. And for a lot of relationships that are thriving, it's because they do get professional help. There is no precise method to marriage. No. For everybody's different. Everybody has different variables from their past that go into their present, and then you're combining that with another person with a totally different past.
And that's in the beginning. You have to realize I was 23, so I have 23 years of Jeff. All the stuff I went through college and my family life. When I was single, thinking I was the king of the city and stuff, you have to be able to transition from that person, and she has to transition from who she was for you guys to be for each other. Because I had to learn how to live with somebody. You've been living single, you've been living by yourself. I mean, when you get into bed, it's like, okay, well, before it was playtime.
Right.
But now I'm trying to get some rest so I can go to work.
Yeah.
I don't need you all on my back. But that might be her comfortable spot. And you have to realize, okay, this is what I need to give her so that she's comfortable with me at this time. Sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes you want to sleep on that side of the bed, you sleep on this side of the bed. And people always say, well, I 50-50 on the marriage. Nah, you better go 100%. Everybody needs to give 100% because if you're just getting 50, you're already lost.
Wise words. So, when did you know that the marriage wasn't going to work out?
We were seeking counseling, because we were separated at that point. And the counselor, it was a husband and wife team. They were giving us exercises to do.
Was this professional counseling or church counseling?
Professional counselors.
Okay.
But they were ministers.
Yeah.
Husband and wife ministers. They were really.
But they were licensed.
Yeah, they were licensed. They were really open. And, said a lot of stuff. And so we had one session where it was like the husband and wife. They was like, we've talked about you guys, and this is what we really recommend, that you take 30 days, give to each other, and see what comes out after the 30 days. Do nothing else, just you two for 30 days.
Are you separated at this point?
Yeah, we were separated at this point.
Okay.
So they were like, start dating and whatever.
Wait, you were separated in the marriage, but starting to date outside of the marriage.
We were starting to try to date each other.
Starting to date each other. Okay.
So, this is the kicker. So, said 30 days. They look at me and said, can you give her 30 days? I was like, okay, I can give her 30 days. They look at her. She puts her head down. And then she's like, nah, I can't. I got a date next week.
Oh, wow.
So that was it.
Yeah.
It was done.
We're pretty clear.
It was pretty clear.
Okay. So what'd you say, Disco?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was no savaging after that point?
Nah. That too.
Okay. So when a man is really done when it comes to a marriage, what does that really mean? Because, you know, we have our idea of what done means, and we think we can just come back at any time because we know you. So what does really done mean for a man when it comes to marriage? Disco is shaking his head heavily no over there. You can't just come back. What does that mean? So you're guarding your feelings at this point?
Yeah, they need to guard their feelings.
Oh, they need to guard their
If
feelings.
you're talking about getting back with me after I say I'm done, guard your feelings.
What do you say, Disco?
As a man, once you decide you gave everything you give, and you can't do no more, you coming back is not gonna make a difference because I'm still gonna give you the same thing I gave you when you left the first time.
Now you're not even gonna get it that good.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. So my point is, what's the reason you coming back? I gave you.
It wasn't enough.
Because at that point, normal us guys will talk to each other, and they're like, "Look, we're gonna try this, try that." We'll go to every extreme possible, and once that ain't good enough, there's nothing I can give you.
Yeah.
So once you check out, you check out.
I'm checked out. I'm already dating.
You're already dating. So were you dating before you were divorced?
Nah.
Okay. Wise answer.
Come on, man. You know better than
Johnny
that.
Cochran over there.
Yeah. Try to sneak me with that one, but no.
No,
It
I'm
was-
just asking
You know,
questions.
it was. But there was one situation I was not dating.
Okay.
Wasn't dating anybody. We went on a trip, and
Who went on a trip?
my ex-wife and myself.
Okay.
So
But you're
We're
separate.
separated. So we like, okay, let's see if we just have some fun. So we go
Okay.
on a trip, go down to Hilton Head.
Mhm.
And you know, they have all the trying to sell you all the little
Yeah, the
time
packages.
shares and stuff. So we had gotten lost and I had went inside this location to get directions and the young lady behind the thing was like, oh, you know, you just go so and so. She's like, oh, so here's, you know, I'm gonna give you $10 or something, some little gift card or
Yeah.
something, you know, just come back and see us and, you know, just do a thing and, you know,
Right.
we can get you another room for a night or whatever. And I was like, I don't know if I'll come back. She's like, well, let me give you my phone number.
Mhm.
So I gave her my phone. She put her phone number in.
Mhm.
Why this woman texts what she texts, I have no idea.
You know,
And
you gave her a vibe that you were available. That's why she texts what she did. Okay, but go ahead. I'll let you have that little bit.
and the ex-wife saw the message, was like, oh, so we can't even come down here without you trying to hook up with another woman. What's going on? I was like, it's not what you think it is. She's like, well,
What did she text? I'm just curious at this point for you to say it's not what you think it is. It sounds like it was pretty clear, whatever the girl said, that it was something. Or wanting to be something. What did she text?
if I come to Georgia, can I stay with you?
Yeah, that's pretty clear that you winked or something.
I told her I was from Atlanta. It was like, if she came to Georgia, could I stay with her? I was like, I didn't give her that.
Right.
That was,
Okay.
That was not the vibe.
I am not going to
Thank you.
elaborate more because I am your friend.
Yes.
And I'm going to let you have that little bit. But you know, I'm not going to let you have that little bit because I know better. You are flirtatious.
Come on, Karen.
When the girl said, I have this to offer you, you probably was like, yeah. And then she probably offered you a little more. And you was like, yeah. And then you got that text. Tell me I'm lying. Yeah, you can't tell me I'm
Plead the
lying.
fifth on that one.
Exactly. Okay, so men, I'm saying that to say, don't lead women on. Don't lead women on.
True.
Because we will read all into that and it will be all wrong. But right, because you led us along those lines. Now, for me, I don't really presume things, so you can't really, you know, unless you said it out your mouth, I'm not
Yeah, I didn't
thinking.
say that in my mouth. I definitely did say that.
We know what you did. So don't lead people on is what I'm saying. How important is it to kill the flirtatious thing you got going on when you're married? Because I know some people, not just men, women also,
But
who
sometimes
cannot.
you don't know you're actually flirting with somebody because they're looking at you like, I would like to, but you're not flirting. You're just there. I mean, how do you stop that?
Sometimes, but no, stop smiling so much. Don't be tapping people on the shoulder and stuff.
Tell you.
Yeah, don't do the Whenever you have any kind of physical connection, they're like, oh, maybe I felt something.
Yeah. That
Yes.
was
So, yeah. So, but seriously though, how important is it to leave the flirtation like
you gotta-
behind
gotta
once
leave-
you
gotta
get
leave
married?
All of that. You gotta leave it behind. You gotta leave all that behind. All the
How hard is it for men? Because I hear
girlfriends.
men say that all the time, like, this is just
I
who
mean,
I
it's-
am.
it's
You're
not-
like,
it's
you
not
got to stop
hard,
being
it's
that
just
person.
you can't put yourself in that position.
Hmm.
That's the hard part. Sometimes you got to stop going places you used to go. You know, I know there was like different clubs that I would like hang out before I got married because I like doing things, and once we started dating, some of those things were easily, you know,
Right.
pushed
Slip
to
in the door.
side. Yeah, but you don't want to keep going to Magic City and Blue Flame and
Those are strip clubs for people who don't know. So I recently asked a question on my Facebook, and it said, "Does going on dates to strip clubs help or hurt relationships?" What's your take on that?
I mean, I don't think it hurts, but I'm not going to a strip club to leave $600 when you could be my dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to do things like that for your husband. I don't want to go, but if I ain't got no option, I'll go.
Mm-hmm. So the option is that you just need your wife to do it for you.
Yeah,
You're good with that. Disco has a stern look, and there's a slight nod. No. Look.
I don't do strip club.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does it help or hurt relationships in your opinion?
I'm born and raised in Miami. I've been around it all my
Yeah.
life.
Right.
But it don't do nothing for me if I know I got
What you
stuff
need
to
at
do
home.
Yeah, I'd rather have my wife do it for me.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, but
And I'm gonna throw the
He's
money
saying he
at
doesn't
you.
have a desire for
Yeah,
that
so
lifestyle at all.
Taking money from my home.
Yeah,
chick I hang out
exactly. Exactly. I'm not doing that.
Well, my thing was, I am not taking my man to a strip club to incite lust in him when I want him to be committed and focused on me. Why would I do that?
So what's your thing?
Make you be
If your
focused on
husband-
Well, some
other
women do
things.
it to learn too, though. Some women do it so they can learn.
Yeah.
How they can see what it please
Mhm.
men.
I understand.
And they do it in their own home.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
I want you to do it at home.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna fake to you like I'm good with taking you to the strip club every week when I want you to be committed to me.
Yeah, I ain't
No.
trying to go to the strip club.
Okay, so when it comes to getting and staying married, what could you have done better?
That's a loaded question.
A loaded question. Unload.
Probably could have listened a little closer. I think that's number one. I think that's it.
How about the approach?
Yeah, I thought my approach was pretty good, but sometimes you gotta,
Approach as it relates to what?
The way we deal with stuff like
Mm-hmm.
the way
yeah.
we communicate sometimes.
Mhm. Communication.
And see, and that's probably the problem. I thought it was good, and it probably wasn't.
The communication part.
The approach,
Uh-huh.
how I handle things.
Okay.
Because I was good at like shutting stuff down. It's
Mhm.
like, if we had an issue, okay, I'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I kind of lost the in between guy when I was married, because you have that nice guy, then the
Mm-hmm.
bad
Hard guy. Mm-hmm.
then there's no in between. I think I lost that in between when I got married.
What do you think made you do a hard shift
Dealing with people who did not belong in my
in the
life.
marriage, in your life, or in your marriage?
I ain't want him in my life,
Like who?
like her family.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But you got to deal with that. I mean, you marry her, you marry the whole
So
family.
how important is it to do your research as far as the family is concerned before you get
Critical.
married?
Critical. You need to run a background check on everybody.
Uh-huh. On Disco saying he just chooses not to deal with family. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a nasty guy, but I'm not married to him. I mean, I've been
Right.
cordial with you.
Yeah.
And hey, auntie, hey, mom, all that, but
But as soon as you feel like you're a part of the say so in the
That's it.
situation, you just shut it down. Okay. What did you think you did great in the marriage?
Provide.
emotionally or financially.
Oh,
He's a good provider. Yeah. I actually didn't meet you till you were going through the divorce,
right.
and he's a sucker. So he's come a long way. So
yeah, that was.
yeah, he was going through. So a lot of times and you can speak on this too. A lot of times when situations are falling apart, men sometimes tend to do the same things they were doing when you were together, when you should stop. Exactly. So to some extent he was being taken advantage of when I met him. And I'm down for my ladies, whatever, but I'm a fair and a just person more than anything. So when I was learning some of the things that were going on, I was like, hold up. This cannot be happening. Look, you're gonna have to stop doing this, and this, and let this just take care of itself.
That's because he wasn't tired. Shit.
He still wanted it to work to some
I
extent.
actually going on with my family members right now.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can give you all the advice in the world, but when you tired, that's when you gonna make that decision.
Yeah. I think it was a combination of that, and also he didn't know. Like he was a good one. He was.
I wanted to make
he
sure
was
my
a good
kids
one.
was okay.
Yeah.
As long as the kids was okay, I'd do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, I mean, really a solid, good guy, but to some extent had gotten taken advantage of, and I was like, for real,
I mean, I wouldn't.
like,
And
didn't even-
that's how I was in the relationship with her. It was like if she wanted something, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But
what you should, it's your wife.
should've
You
cut
know
it-
what I'm
I
saying?
should've
You
cut
should
it
be
off
like that
after
for
we
your wife.
decided that it was over. I should have stopped. But I didn't.
Exactly. He was still.
But the stuff you made decisions on, did it have anything with your children? Like, did it affect the kids or just solely her?
It was her.
It was her.
So it just benefited her.
Yes.
Yeah. At the end, it was.
He
all
was.
her.
He was given all the benefits.
Yeah, I can see like if the car break down and kids.
No, you have to take care. Yeah, of
You talking
course.
Something she just wanted for herself.
One time her car, she had a flat. Where she was at? She was 400 all the way to the end almost, and called me. He's like, I can't change the tire. It's like, call the roadside assistance. Well, I'm kind of nervous out here by myself, so I leave work, drive out, get almost there. She calls me. Oh, the state trooper stopped, and I got somebody here to help you. You don't have to come.
He was at beck and call, and I was like, "This is crazy." Like, yo,
I mean, we were still.
if
going.
you trying to, right, I say, if you're trying to get with her and work it out, then, you do some of these things. If you're trying to be clear on where you stand in the situation and y'all still friends, this is a totally different scenario of how you should be interacting.
Right.
So,
That's my whole point. I said when
yeah,
you did everything you can do. He sounded like he wanted to be up. He wanted his family back. Or he wanted his family to work, and he did everything he could. That was that.
yeah. So, we'll just let it go.
Yeah. But it stopped though.
It did. And she was shocked when it finally did stop.
Yeah. Well,
Right. Because she had the benefits of being married while she was actually single. And I was like, yo, she ain't got no reason to ever want to be married again if she get all the benefits without having to do any of the work. Like, it was like, yeah. All the benefits, no
How long ago
commitment.
this was?
Long time ago, decade or so.
yeah.
Yeah. Long time ago.
About 11 years
Yeah. So, you said you wouldn't think about getting married again unless it was the right person. And what would be the characteristics of the right person?
Had the right person.
What's the characteristics of the right person? Look, don't y'all be trying to change y'all characteristics to be the right person since he gonna tell us.
A caring person.
Caring.
Number one. You got to care about what I do. Understand that the stuff that you get is not free, and somebody has to work. I'm a workaholic, and I try to make sure I benefit every time I go somewhere. I'm trying to make sure I bring money home. So, but one thing that I'm not gonna listen to you calling me. It's like 10 o'clock, and you saw me left with my equipment to go DJ. What are you doing?
I'm working.
You know what I'm doing, right? Yeah.
Right.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. They want more. I'm gonna stay until I get all the money.
Mm-hmm.
If they want me to stay longer, look at you got access to my checking account, business account, everything. And they can see. I'm like, the money right there.
Wait a minute. So Disco is like, there is no access to any of his accounts. So how important in a marriage is to have access to each other financial
I tell all the fellas,
resources?
if you have one account, you're making a mistake. You need to have at least 3.
Okay.
If you don't have a business, you need to have at least 3. You have one where if you have an understanding, okay, we together and we're pooling our money together, Okay, we pull it together in one account. And you have her account, your account. You take this allowance every month, I take this allowance every month. Do what you want with your money, just don't bring me a bill.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do women go out and think, okay, I got $4,000 or $5,000, I'm gonna buy me a new car. Well, I had the money for the down payment. Well, what about the payments for the next 56 months?
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring me no bill. That's your money. Do what you want to. I ain't gonna question it. But you bring me a bill, you got a problem now.
Mm-hmm.
You get nothing.
How important is it to talk financials before marriage?
You should have a meeting at least every other week
Mm-hmm.
to discuss where you're at.
Okay. So,
I mean, I don't say run your marriage like a business, but manage it like one.
well, it's funny that you say that because I think that a lot of people, generally men, like to put a lot of effort into business, but they don't put any effort into a relationship and expect it to work. And I'm like, you have to treat your relationship
If you
somewhat
want your
like a
relationship to
business as
work,
well. You have to always be
find
putting
out.
something into it to
Find
get
out
something
what she
out.
likes to do and make it a business for her. Make her as busy as you are.
That's important too. If
And then
you
you
are a
support
busy person,
Yeah.
a workaholic, both of us are workaholics. But if you are a busy person and you try to be with someone less busy than you are,
It's a problem. If they don't have a
want-
job, it's a problem.
they have to have that time taken care of that they don't have anything filling it with. And guess who they want to fill that time? You. But what are you doing? Working. Right. So it's kind of like you have to be with somebody on the same footing
Yeah.
when it comes to their work
And don't
ethic.
fall with this. You should invite me to one of your events. Don't. I
Uh-oh.
made that mistake. That's the worst ever. Because you know what you need to do to get it done to make the money. They sitting around, they like, when are you gonna be finished?
When I finish.
When I finish. Now,
Disco is
now
doing
you
a
being-
heavy no,
now
he
you being
DJs also.
Now you're being disrespectful because I'm
I'm
telling
working.
you,
Yeah.
I'm working, and I mean,
And in a DJ position, of course, there's somebody coming up and flicking their hair, and they like, we want to hear. And then if you have somebody over there that you came with, and they're like, why are they over here flicking their hair? Like, this comes with the territory. This is
got
what I do.
Good. I've been DJing 17 years. My lady ain't never been none of my things.
Hmm.
see
Because
that's
she
good.
don't want to see. She don't want to see.
It's exposed to
She
that,
know
and it
how-
comes with the
She know how
territory.
friendly I am. She know how protective
Yeah.
I am. So unless it don't come to the house, she can care less.
Yeah.
So
Because you don't know, some of them flicking of the hairs might be the wedding reception you're gonna do next month. You're gonna pick up
Exactly, yeah.
1,500.
and you got
So you gotta be ready.
Our personality gets our booking.
Right.
Mhm.
We said we
Exactly.
can't talk to a pretty woman because she right here. I just lost some money.
You lost some-
standing right here. And that
Exactly.
money come back home to you.
Hmm.
Right. And see, and I show the movies outside and stuff, so it's like after the movie, okay, we ready to go? Nah, I gotta break all this down.
Hmm.
What do you think I'm gonna break it down? I gotta take it down.
Hmm. So, for people who work in professions that calls for just a little bit more talkativeness than others, then you say keep your partner separate from that.
Not unless you want to learn how and start working with me.
Hmm.
Now, I've given that opportunity, like, come on, let me show you what you need to do.
Mhm.
I just need you to do this little bit, and you'll be good.
Hmm.
Because number one, a dude will hire a woman before he hire me.
Hmm.
Oh, he got the pretty girl. We're gonna get the pretty girl to DJ our party.
Yeah, if we
Okay.
go to the meeting with you, then we can kind of get you booked faster.
Yeah, so it
That's
works
true,
out for both.
especially
of
if they
us.
can talk business as
Right.
well.
So, but
Mhm.
one person that helped her with a business, help her get it started
Mhm.
and stuff. I'm like, you need to do this every
Mm-hmm.
day. You got to keep.
You got to build it.
But you listening to your family and your friends, oh girl, you gonna quit. It ain't gonna last. I'm like, good support from the family.
Hmm.
Your sister going to other people to get her work done when she can come to you, paying them top dollar. And when you do her, she wants it for free.
Right.
I mean, forget that. I ain't doing nothing for free. Free is over.
Hmm. Okay. So,
And see, and some of that got me in trouble because some of the events, they weren't free. They paid,
Mhm.
but they paid.
Yeah.
So
getting and staying married, what is your advice for those who want to get married? Like preparation advice.
get your affairs in order. Buy 2 new phones on the same plan. Get rid of your phone. So it won't be oh, I thought I deleted this number. Nah.
Now you said just start
Because
fresh,
sometimes
clean slate.
sometimes the ladies they have, I ain't know he still had my number. Well, we'll eliminate that problem.
Okay.
Clean slate. Everybody, we get our own phone.
I've had my number for like 25 years.
Yeah, and that person
But-
26 years from now, he don't need to be calling.
Right. I understand what you're saying. Like, I have never considered having to change my number, but based on what you're saying, I'll be okay with it.
It's just an
Like-
honest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you have your money together, accounts, how you making your money or whatever, because you don't have to guess how I'm making my money. Make them behind your back. Now, like I said, you have your 3 accounts, one for the
Joint.
and then you have yours and his.
Mm-hmm.
And how much you contribute, you just contribute based on what you guys know you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me for nothing extra.
Mm-hmm. What is the importance of how you keep house when it comes to marriage?
As far as cleaning up, I eat off my floor, and I'm a single dude. I've had somebody come in my house, they were sick, in the bathroom, got a pillow and laid on the bathroom floor and went to sleep and was comfortable.
Because they know it was
They
clean.
knew it was clean.
Mm-hmm.
I like it clean.
Mm-hmm. So as far as dating somebody, how do you figure out if they're on the same level?
Ooh. It ain't hard. Trust me.
Okay.
The first time they invite you to their house and they got to scramble in the room to start moving shit around. Excuse me.
Try not to quit.
they gotta
Mm-hmm.
and then you wake up in the morning, you go look for something to drink because you're a little parched in the
The
throat,
refrigerator dirty.
and there's still dishes in those sink
Oh,
water that was
dishes
left
in
from
the
the
sink.
day or two before, and it's like that
Not
milky
2
looking
days.
color.
Ew. Okay.
Trash can full. I don't care what it is. My mother has 7 children. I ain't never seen a full trash can in her house. Now, when we were old enough as young men to start helping around the house, we had our job to take it out. But before then, I don't remember the trash can being full.
What do you think is the most detrimental thing to relationships, marriages?
Honesty. If you're not honest, just be honest. It may hurt you, but it'll pay off in the long run.
So the lack of honesty.
Yeah.
It's most detrimental to marriages.
If you did it, you did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for people who have been divorced, what do you think is the most guarded thing about them?
Their emotional feelings. I mean, how you feel and stuff, because a divorce can be taxing on you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I had to fight through it, but there was days where I'm like, damn.
Could you stop
Yeah.
cursing on my show, please, sir? Go ahead.
I think that's after I turned 55, I just started cussing a whole lot.
Did you?
I think
Okay. Well, stop it on this show.
so. I'm gonna stop it.
But go ahead.
Like, dog, it's like, man, I done gave everything I could.
Uh-huh.
I ain't gonna do that. Because us dudes, we gonna hide it. We ain't gonna let you see them feelings, you lost that little tear, you like,
You lost a tear.
that
One
tear.
tear.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
But, I thought I was going to venture back down that road again, and ended up into some of the same stuff that I had dealt with in my previous marriage,
Mm-hmm.
where, family was like trying to monitor and control this person's life, which they were pretty much successful. I kind of helped a little because the family member was in a situation where they were losing.
Yeah. So the barrier for you has been family more so than
Yeah.
anything else. In having a successful.
And their
Situation.
ability to deal with their family members, because if I deal with your family members, it never ends well.
Mhm.
It's, I'm always going to be the bad person, even
Okay.
though I'm always the good person in the beginning. And it just happens. I
Okay.
wanted to cuss just then, but I did.
Thank you. I appreciate that effort. All right. So we're getting ready to wrap it up. Please tell us how we can follow you online and what things you have coming up, what you offer the community.
On Instagram, you can follow me on Outdoor Movie King, and on TikTok,
Mhm.
Big Atlanta. I'm on TikTok. I'm not doing any of the challenges. I'm I can't do nothing.
I have my
else, so-
TikTok set up. I haven't started doing anything yet,
No,
but I'm about to.
I advertise the movies. You know.
Uh-huh.
We have outdoor movies. We have 2 screens now. We have a 15-foot screen and a 27-foot screen for your large picnics at the park. We take care of your backyard barbecues with our smaller screen. If you have a birthday party, for some teenagers, parents, a movie night is a great night because if you ever notice, when the credits start to roll, those kids go home because they know in their head, oh, the movie's over, we got to go home. That's the easiest way to get them out your house.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check us out at Outdoor Movie King on Instagram or Big Atlanta on TikTok.
All right. I'm Catherine Yancey. You can find me on social media at Catherine Yancey on Facebook, Miss MZ.K.D.Y on Instagram. And I will be back here on Disco 100 Radio next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, K.D.Y Live. Thank you for tuning in.